Hi, I'm Vicki Leeser, and this time the responsibly wasted team, besides me, is going to be Paul here, also known as the Undertaker. Undertaker?
Undertaker?
Yes, apparently all his customers pass on. Next to him is Scott, which I call Coach. And we're just going to leave it at that.
Coach.
And
Coach.
they're both artists in their own right.
It's catching on too, because other people are calling me that.
Yeah, no, it is. It's an art form. It is. You're not painting a painting, but it's better. You can take it with you.
Yeah.
When did you start experimenting?
Well, we checked online, and I was wanting to do something a little more creative, but I've never been real artsy. A lot of people are wanting custom work done. I'm pretty big in the firearms community and also in the veterans community, so a lot of people are asking for custom artwork or custom beard koozies, stuff like that. Gift ideas for men tend to be really hard to find, something different. So I'm getting a lot of female clients that are asking for custom stuff for their husbands.
I hear you're big in the little girl community as well.
Well,
Oh, I mean the softball girl community.
Specify, please.
yeah, please specify. I don't need DHS knocking on my door. Hey, what the hell have you been doing, buddy?
You've been working with 20 underage girls.
Yeah.
And what did you do for them?
We're doing softball helmets for them for a softball team.
That's awesome.
We've also got a soccer team that we're going to be doing a bunch of water bottles for a tournament, big tournament.
Is
they're
it all
going to.
different for each one?
For the soccer team, or no, both of them are pretty much the same right now.
Okay. So it's not like individual. I'm a princess. I'm a warrior.
No.
Okay.
So you're telling us about the process a little earlier, so maybe explain a little bit. Like that one you said it was actually an actual photo. Like
the flame is an actual photo. Is what they do is they print it on a substrate that's it's a clear film, and they print the picture or the graphic or whatever on that film. They lay it on, and when they ship it to us, we can lay it on a specialized tank that's made for hydrographic dipping, and we put the graphic on it, and then there's an activator that we have to spray on it, and it has to be absolutely perfect to get it to lay on the product right. And through trial and error, we've perfected that process now where we can do stuff like this, where we actually take photos and print it on that film, or get it printed on that film, and then lay that product onto.
Yeah, because that has depth. It has like the transparency of the flames when you really look at it.
Right.
It looks cool. The layering of it, I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they've taken pictures of alligators. Because people are trying to get away from actually using the actual real live animals to make stuff.
Right.
So they're taking pictures now, and they can apply that to that film, and they can still get the same effect of the graphic without having to hurt the animal.
You can get the cup you want as well. You know,
Right.
That's really cool. I like that.
But yeah, we do custom artwork. We do custom paints. This is actually a carbon fiber clear that we can paint any color underneath it and make it whatever color you want.
Yeah, the effect that pulls off is really neat. I don't know
Yeah.
if the camera really can see it, but it's awesome.
I'm
It's really
gonna
neat.
take photos afterwards and
That's
put them
really
in.
cool.
I want to hear about the gun stuff.
The gun stuff. Yeah, okay. Clients come to us. They want customized guns. They want all their stuff to match. This is actually a whole matching set here. He wanted all of his stuff in this particular pattern, so we were able to do his holster, his mag holder, his cup, his reloader. I'm probably going to end up doing the box that it came in. It's all custom work, so
The application's got to be so critical because your symmetry is perfect on how the clips fit in.
right.
I mean, you have to line that up perfectly.
Yeah, and I actually study whatever I'm dipping, and I look at it really hard and think, okay, how does this need to go exactly where it needs to be correct on the part you're doing?
If you make a mistake, not a mistake, but you don't like it.
Oh, you can call it a mistake because I made a bunch of them.
Can you redo it, or do you have to strip it?
Yeah, I have to. The process is after you dip it, it has to be rinsed, and during that rinsing process, if I don't like it, I can take it off immediately.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And then after about 15 minutes, it actually sets into the piece where it's permanent. And then we use a clear coat to go over it. We use automotive clear.
Like
So
protected.
Can I see the BB gun, or just hold it up?
yeah. This is my daughter's BB gun. She wanted something a little different. She's not really a girly girl, and she's not really into pink, but she got this as a kid, and she said, "I want it to look different, Daddy." So we did it in the sugar skulls for her.
It's crazy how you can get it to stay symmetrical and wrap around
Right.
shapes. I'm amazed by that.
That
Yeah,
was
it's-
so difficult. I mean,
It is very difficult to put around a round object.
Yeah, no, it looks like it. No.
it looks like it was made that way. Like
Right.
That's the scary part.
plastic.
Yeah, that looks
Yeah.
factory. Yeah, that's cool.
And the name of your company is Green.
Green Country Hydrographics.
Green
I'm
Country.
originally from Oklahoma, and the area I'm from is called Green Country, so that's why it's called Green Country Hydrographics.
Nice. I like that.
Keeping it hometown. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Facebook page is the same name, right?
Yes, the Facebook page is
Green
the same.
Country Hydro.
Yeah, and we're working on a website right now. We had one built, and it just didn't work out, so we're getting a new one built right now.
That's. Is this going to be a full-time thing for you, or we can't say?
Well, we're pretty much doing it full time. We're pretty much staying busy. I have another job as well, so between that and doing this, it's a full week.
That's awesome.
And I've got my kids wrapped up in it. My
So child labor.
yeah, pretty much child labor. You know, I figure I feed them and help pay for stuff and fix cars. They can help
Yeah.
Dad out. So
And if you live in the county, CDS probably won't even drive out there. Right?
yeah, right.
You said that can stick to just about anything.
Yeah, just
Very-
about anything we can dip in water that is safe to dip in water, I can apply the graphic to.
That's endless.
Yeah, anything. That's
Yeah,
cool.
we've done
Guitars, all kinds of
mailboxes, we've done guitars, we've done like the pick guards on guitars.
stuff. Oh,
That
yeah.
would-
And we actually have a guy who now makes custom stenciling for us, so we can actually custom stencil stuff too. In fact, we just did one for a store in Young, Arizona. We did like 50 cups for them.
I
So
saw that picture.
yeah.
That
So the
looks
level of customization is pretty awesome. You can do some pretty cool stuff between
yeah, pretty
pictures
much
and-
just about any. If you have a logo or a graphic or something you want applied to it, we can put that on for it.
That's awesome. So anybody who wants something really personal,
Yeah.
Right.
you want Granny's face on a toilet lid, whatever. Don't miss. That's awesome. Now we're gonna go to the Ripper here. Sorry, no. We're gonna move on to the other.
A little bit of
Art forms.
sculpting over here. This is all stuff that I've painted up here. The alien that we've got up here. This guy right here is painted by Casey Love, or sculpted by Casey Love. He's done stuff, Sid Effects and a couple other companies. He worked for Rick Baker. He's on Men in Black. Took some classes from him. This is an Anthony Watkins. It's a were hyena, and I also painted that. And then most of the rest of this stuff right here is either sculpted, casted, and painted by myself. Just
So
a,
we were talking about those like gel skulls, and you put lights in there, and they're just fantastic.
Oh,
right,
that
yeah,
would be cool.
and this material is really resilient too. Like the clear, that actual clear, it's really impact resistant. So it's not so much as some of the other stuffs, the other materials.
So I could commission you to do like 4 poster bed glowing skulls.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we could do all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, as far as sculpting goes, it's pretty much your imaginations are the limit.
And the smaller skulls, they all have magnets.
Yeah, those are little magnet skulls, just kind of your basic little fridge magnet guys. I don't know how well you can really see them up there.
How long does it take to do one?
The sculpting, like I think this sculpt right here is kind of, here's the original,
I love that one.
and this is made out of Super Sculpey.
Wow, that's crazy.
So what I did is I sculpted that out of Super Sculpey, and it's polymer clay. So you go ahead and you bake that in an oven, and I have an isolated oven that I use only for polymer clays.
Well, how much time while it's wet do you have to sculpt it before?
Okay, so basically this Super Sculpey and any oil-based clay, polymers and oil-based clays are endless. They basically stay wet as long as you want them to. Polymer clay does dry out, and so does oil-based clay, but we're talking probably a year, 2 years. So you have a long time to tinker with this. It's not so, like how Scott stuff is very much you have to be perfect on the first shot. You get a lot of shots on this, and if you don't like it, you can go over it and over and
I
over
wish
and
my
over.
stuff was like that.
Yeah. When you get into like stuff like Scotte's and my tattoo friends, it's
Yeah.
kind of like there's no forgiving in that. And basically, that's kind of why I got into the oil-based clay and the polymer clays, is because they're so forgiving. You know, you get into stuff like this or like a marble or something like that, and one mistake and boom, you're done. And it's, you know.
And the airbrushing, is that really difficult because it's such a small head?
It does take a steady hand, you know, but other than that, it's not really much to it. You know, you learn the materials. Each paint is a little bit different. That's my biggest, you know, tell on everything, is every brand is formulated a little different, sprays it a little different. Once you get used to all that kind of stuff, that was the most difficult part for me.
Well, I think you did excellent on this one because that looks like fur.
I
I almost want to
appreciate
sit
that.
out there and pet it.
Yeah, that one, that Anthony Watkins, that one, I think I probably spent about 16 hours just on the paint on that one. That was probably the most time I ever spent on painting. And the layering and the fur washes and glazes and stuff like that, and inside the mouth is...
But her hair is fantastic, that Medusa-looking woman.
The sculpting, yeah, the kind of the She-Hulk looking one.
She-Hulk, yes. Hounds of Hell, stop.
And this is also super sculpting, you know, it's real easy to work with, real forgiving. And then you, like I said, you just kind of bake it in anything from like a toaster oven or an isolated oven.
Really?
Yeah, and it's hard. It can break. You know, there's different clay out there, polymers out there that are formulated now that are not supposed to break, but they're not on the market yet.
You talk about building that color though, and putting that depth in that color. I never really realized that, or you know, until I started doing this stuff. Some of them, the patterns will break apart, and you'll just see all the colors in there, and I'm like, oh, that's how they came up with that color.
The layering, yeah.
The layer, it's crazy how they
really
can
get
do
to
that.
see that, yeah, how that really is formed, yeah. And some of it's super impressive, yeah. And that was one of the biggest takeaways of like when I painted with Casey Love is the layering, modeling, that kind of stuff. And so that's what we mostly worked on when I worked with him. So.
Oh, the alien woman, the blue one.
Yeah,
Is it a woman?
This
Or what is it?
which one? This guy?
Yeah.
Oh, this is just like a little. I guess he kind of started out as a werewolf, and then he kind of morphed into like a genie,
Javelina genie.
kind of
Bat ear.
bat genie kind of character.
I love his overbite.
Yeah.
Underbite. That is cool.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and those are like little bangers. That's what I call little bangers. That even her, I probably did that in about 5 hours, and I did that. Well, no, the hair probably took a couple hours, but then I probably did that in like 3 hours. You know, that's
The blue one, I just see a stop motion animation thing
Yeah.
for it, and just make a little, like it's walking towards you. Look, it's what.
yeah. Kind of, I was under that. Like, okay, like what was something like that? What would have been a cool toy that I would have wanted to see or play with, or you know, that's kind of where I'm coming from. Simon Lee is like a really super good sculptor, and that's kind of, I took a couple classes from him, and he kind of said the same thing. Don't sculpt from where you are right now. Sculpt from the 6 and 8-year-old and 10-year-old you.
All the stuff you wanted to see back then that you never got to see on TV and stuff. That's
right.
Cool.
You know, you're gonna have
That's
some
good advice.
failings, but it's one of those things where you're gonna let your imagination free. You're gonna be a little bit more of a gunslinger. You're gonna be less reserved. So it's kind of, for me, it's been more fun that way. You know, when I've sculpted that way. So.
The purple guy with the skylight for his extra large brain.
Yeah, he's got, and see, these actually even come off. That's like, I believe these are eye forms for masks. So you can actually get in there and see his brow. Clearly, I painted it so they come off. But yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of have to put it back in there the right way or it'll fall off. It'll probably fall off here.
Did you make all the stands for him?
Yeah, the base I made for that, you know, just kind of, made it with my little router.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I clearly I didn't have a lathe or anything. I just kind of cut the best circle I could and just kind of ran it on the router. So that.
And yours is found on your Facebook as well, or is it a separate page?
Facebook and Instagram, Archaic Illusions. So that's kind of.
Instagram, Archaic Illusions.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've been doing most of my art. So.
I'll spell it out and put it at the bottom.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, since it's Halloween every day here.
Spooky time.
Spooky time.
I rewatched Halloween. and I was trying to compare it to Halloween 2.
Okay.
And there's no comparison.
It's the
The gore is better in 2, sure.
yeah, okay, yeah, the
But
gore is
that's
better,
it.
but it definitely has more 80s flavor than horror flavor.
Do you remember nurses dressing like that? Because I just do not.
No.
No, and the Amazing Grace,
Yeah.
I don't. His little song about her, no, I don't remember nurses quite looking like that.
Well, it was like movies through the 70s and TV shows. They always showed candy stripers. I've never seen a candy striper in a
No.
hospital.
That's wonderful. I broke my arm and I had a compound fracture, and the people that came out to help me did not look like those nurses. There was a guy that was, they looked like He-Man.
Yeah.
Looked like basically like He-Man in a dress, and
I
they
guess
ripped my arm
we'll just
apart.
get over how ridiculous they look.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God that's gone. Talking about our guy there, is he a ghost?
Is
Jack
Michael
says
yes.
Myers a ghost? That's the question on the table. There seems to be some sort
Jack?
of there seems to be some sort of help there, because how many times is he shot, stabbed?
So the evil
Burn.
behind the eyes that the doctor sees
There's
might be something more paranormal, or
there's definitely something there. Well, I don't know. How many psychopaths do we know that well? Do we know any? Can we get him on the phone? Hey there.
I probably could, but let's not today.
I don't know how many people can take 6 rounds and keep walking towards you.
Right, yeah, either he's got a really good PCP supply, or because we never really addressed that. Is he?
It's just in a blink of an eye, he's there, he's gone. He's in the sheets, he's gone. The kid looks out the window, he's gone.
For a guy who walks that slow, he disappears very quick.
That makes
Yeah.
me wonder.
Definitely.
Okay.
Something demonic going on there.
But you got the thing about that is there's something about Michael Myers. He's kind of lovable, in a creepy kind of way. You almost want Michael Myers to win.
I don't feel for him.
You don't. Okay, except for the sister. I wanted everybody else. They kind of earned their way by kind of breaking all the rules. They actually made the rules for all these horror movies and how to get killed, right?
Yeah, look, teens in bed sleeping, good night. and they're just done.
Right.
The problem I have with this movie is really just nitpicking. It's, okay, so Annie is the first one to die. She spills spaghetti sauce on her shirt. She has to do laundry because apparently she has no other clothes in the entire fucking house. And she goes out in a blanket.
Of course, because when we've all babysitted in the past, we just strip down naked when we spill anything on us and go out to the laundry mat and
So,
in the
yeah.
I was doing that this morning.
back
So.
40s out there. Right? So it's like that instant reaction is a little comical, but yeah, it's one of those things that the death is kind of cool though.
Yeah.
There's so many trade. I guess that's the trade-off is the plot breaker, the cheesiness. Does the kill make up for it?
I guess the cheese is necessary. There has to be some cheese.
And you said there was a lot more gore in the second one than the first one.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
is that because
Wow.
they had a bigger budget, they had more money,
had a huge budget.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
more,
sure
more
they did.
attempts at humor too. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think you start out with this minuscule budget, and then now it's something, and you actually can go. Yeah.
You can do all the things you wanted to do in the first movie, and that you've got your Christmas wish list now for the second one.
The big explosions in the hospital. You can burn stuff, and you can do all this kind of.
But the
jazz.
story isn't as good. And the wig isn't as good.
So they spent more money on the special effects and less money on the writing.
I guess they didn't have a studio behind them in the first one. It was an indie for like $300,000.
Oh,
and
wow.
it grossed like 60, 70 million.
Yeah, something
which is
like that.
amazing for late 70s.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those that set the trend for the that you could spend not a lot of money, get some really good special effects guys, put some stuff together.
It looked like a perfect film. I mean, I had some issues calling it Illinois, and I was like, oh, look, a palm tree at the same time. And then 1 minute the ground is wet and rainy, and then it's sunny and dry. And I had continuity issues, but that's
Right, yeah, the 6 and 7 shots, between the first and second one, there's a couple little things like that.
I guess they didn't have enough money.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, though, is it the enough money thing, or is that an Easter egg so that you can look back and say that later in years, okay, look at this, man, we did this, and how many people caught this,
Right.
I mean, some of the stuff's pretty obvious when they do it, but, not so much with that. That's a big question mark.
Or is it one of those things where they've don't have a big budget, they've filmed it and said, you know what, nobody's going to think about that. Just leave it in there.
Not edited by the same guy.
Nobody's going to look at that again.
That's not going to be seen twice. The end of one and the beginning of two are never going to be played consecutively. There's no way to do it.
They're like years apart.
Here comes the VCR.
Yeah.
Who entered the VCR? Laser discs. Okay, well.
Okay, let's say I just rate the top 5. I'll go Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Exorcist, The Thing, and Alien. This is just me throwing it out there.
No, yeah, that's pretty good,
I'm not sure which is number 1, but which is number 1 for jump scares?
Oh. Wow, jump scares. To me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, TCM has got me. I mean, there's the pacing of it. It really does say, because I mean, you've got, as far as jump scares, Friday the 13th has a lot of good jump scares over the years. There's some really good ones in that whole series, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, yeah, it's got that original Hills Have Eyes spooky feel, like this could happen to you. This could happen to you.
Right.
You could break down somewhere.
Yeah, there's people out there like down in the south,
Yeah, we've all been to those towns where it's like, hey man,
they have a sheriff like that,
Let's get gas before we stop here.
What about realistic gore?
Wow, realistic gore.
I mean, obviously choking just looks real because it's just choking, but I think Alien. It looked so gooey and warm and yummy and just ripping
the flavor just right out of the gate from the H.R. Giger inspired creature and well, he's credited with creating the original the Queen Alien, so that's all. That art is kind of based off in the stylistic of the series. It just kind of, he set the pace for the style, and that kind of, it really made it scary. The gooey, really, the drippy, the extending mandible kind of drop of the, everything.
The drool, everything just looks so. Before that, it was kind of like, oh, but then it was just, oh my god.
Right, and it's one of those things, you're sitting there in the theater and you can, that movie I watched half a dozen times, and you feel that movie. You can feel the moisture in the air. You can feel, just by watching it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I remember sitting there watching it with my dad, and because he was a big sci-fi buff and he wanted to go see it, and I'm sitting there with him, and all he did was reach over. He's just tapped my hand, like he was just telling me I gotta go to the bathroom. That's all he was doing, and he tapped my hand, and I about exploded out of that seat.
Stabbed him with a straw.
I was like, ah!
Yeah. Again, there was something about that I don't know. It kind of felt like it could happen, and it was also scary because there was something infectious about the creature. Like the diner scene and all that coming and all that. That whole thing was like there was some. Yeah, there's multi scare levels to that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we were hardcore into NASA at that time. We were sending people up into space, and everybody's got that in their mind, and you're thinking
deep dark space.
Yeah,
I want to go there and see what's there.
Yeah, they're talking about wanting to fly to Mars, and I'm like, well, what if there's aliens on Mars?
Right?
Well, they're there.
You think this is a good idea?
The Queen lays one of those pods, man. Have you seen this? Like, you sure you want to do this?
What about the acting? Which one do you think? Is there one that stands out in acting more than other?
Well, acting. I mean.
Or maybe script.
I'd probably go Alien, because I mean, you get into like Aliens and Sigourney Weaver. She's kind of like one of the first female badasses that really like I don't know. To me, yeah, she really set the table of really kicking ass.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis' character kind of kicks butt. Shoots him or stabs him. Sorry.
No, that's adversity. Yeah.
So I'm gonna protect that little boy. Whatever.
No, that's. Yeah.
So she did the mama bear
And you
thing.
kind of have the mama bear mirrored image with the, her Ripley and the little girl.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you had Paul Reiser in there too, and he was.
Oh, he's so slimy.
You
I
just
love
wanted him
him.
to die.
The whole cast was just packed full.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bill Paxton. I like
Oh,
Bill
God,
Paxton.
yeah, Bill Paxton. Yeah, that's. Yeah,
Hoorah!
Yeah.
The Marine guys out there. And his little, his friend, the woman, she was a badass.
Oh
too.
yeah, she was a badass. too.
Hispanic or something.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. See, I would definitely out of those, I would say script and like feel that in acting. I think that's probably. You know what though, The Thing. Okay, so if we get The Thing on that list, I mean, I guess like if you're going, you've got Exorcist on that list, Halloween, TCM. Linda Blair does get big bonus points for being a little kid for that portrayal. That
Right.
is super freaky, super creepy. I mean, we've all heard the super intense parts, and that's to even speak those words as a kid has to, kind of
She
mar
didn't seem like a kid. She seemed like a mini adult.
Right.
very much so.
So she did a great job there.
Yeah, what was the line when she's like, they're all singing the song and she comes down and she pees on the stairs and you're all gonna burn in hell or you're all gonna die
Right.
down here. It's like, what the? Yeah, it's like really just that alone. And then she starts to make the transformation from Reagan to the.
And do we know, how old was she when that movie came out? I remember seeing it. She was young, really young.
Yeah, I think it's like 12 or 13. It's something crazy like
that
that.
kid still got to go to school.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at him.
Right.
Don't scare me.
So that
I don't want to do homework.
Okay.
Okay.
Your excuse.
Yeah, that's man. Yeah, The Exorcist.
So is there a film that freaked you out as a kid that you just couldn't sleep afterwards? Is there one that really stands out? You want to think about it for a minute?
Yeah, I'll think about that one for a minute.
Okay.
He's got one. He's got one.
I've got two that really just, critically, just mortally wounded my psyche as a child. Okay, so check this out. I read the book The Shining, and this is kind of odd for a kid. I read the book The Shining before I saw the movie. And I guess like the end of the book is kind of like the maze kind of comes with the topiary figures kind of come to life and attack him. Well, it's not really that way in The Shining, so it kind of changes, and there's a couple other different things and blah blah blah. But anyways, that's not the part that scared me. Him in that, it was literally the music, this ominous music, and I'm sure Vicky will find it, and it's oh my god. We had a VHS cassette of this thing, and my mom would put this on, and my dad would put this on because they know it tortured me, and it was just that ominous music. I would literally run and go hide underneath my bunk bed. Like, I was like, I could not do it. The music from The Shining. Now I could watch the rest of the movie. I could watch The Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No, and then there was another one. It's this one, and here we go. I don't know if this qualifies as a horror movie. It's called Magic. I think it's late 70s, early 80s. The guy has a little dummy mannequin that he cruises around with and does shows with, and eventually it kind of starts talking to him, and then it starts saying really crazy stuff like "Go kill this person," "Go do this kind of stuff." And again, I could watch the whole movie and not be afraid of it, but it was the sound. At certain points, I seem to remember there were something where they would either whisper or hum like magic. There was something about that, and then my dad would sneak up behind me wherever I was and just do that. This went on for 20 years of this, my dad, because he couldn't get me any other way, so it was either the music for The Shining magic. And it got me every time. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
That's spooky stuff.
Oof.
I'm gonna go. It's The Blob. I don't think it was the original screening. It was late night with my dad. But anything that can squeeze anywhere and get you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're watching under the door when you're laying in bed going...
Is that light or is that The Blob?
Yeah.
I don't know. See, that freaked me out. So.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That's a spooky one.
I had to.
See, like growing up on, like we were talking about too, growing up, I always knew like all this stuff was fake. Fangoria magazine and like Monster magazine, so I was big on that stuff right out of the gate. But there were certain movies and certain performances, certain scenes that like left impacts on me. Like I think there was this one called At the Gates. And this guy, he's in one of those creepy mortician characters that we were talking about, the Undertaker, Phantasm guy, and Randall Flagg guy, and he would make you
Baptist preacher. Yeah.
Right, exactly. He would make you vomit up your intestines. You would start with your tongue. You would like vomit up your tongue, and then like everything would come out. And this was repetitive, and it was kind of really spooky because there was something like with the mausoleum. Oh man, that one kind of got me. And I knew, and I looked at the Fangoria magazine and actually saw them do it, and then when I watched it back at late at night, it would get me. I would still get scared, but that's where we got to put it in perspective. It's like that 12, 13, like what's scary, like like we were talking about to an adult, poltergeist is hardly scary,
Right.
So it's very interesting, it's cool, but like when you're a kid. To me, like I said, Poltergeist was scary. The little girl getting sucked into the television.
Right,
Boom,
but now it's just...
Yeah, and then the boy in the tree, all that kind of stuff, that really... and again, all that stuff was in Fangoria magazine. I looked at it all, saw how they did it, and like, okay, cool, yeah.
Like you see like a needle go in somebody's eye, that still freaks me out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Or
No,
somebody
that's-
cutting themselves, and
That's a little different, okay?
so I'm at that point now.
That-
That's what I need to get off.
Do we need to get you help?
That kind of shock is intense, yeah.
I need the
there's-
shred, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get into like more like the mutilation, Saw, and Hostel, and kind of trippy.
That's what I thought horror actually was for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Alien was sci-fi. The Shining was a thriller with weird
psychological
Kool-Aid
thriller,
coming
right?
out of the
Right.
the blood
Because he
rush
didn't
and-
kill it. Well, I guess. Well, yeah. It's kind of more a psychological thriller, but yeah, it definitely
Jack?
falls under horror now in the long run.
Yeah. I don't know. I need more.
Yeah.
I've been desensitized. Have you thought of one that just
Yeah,
freaked you out?
actually, I brought it up earlier, was Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah.
About the carnival, because, back in our day, you didn't have the internet. You didn't have anything. Kids had to have something to do, so they brought carnivals to town. I was in the Midwest, and they brought carnivals. It seemed like every weekend there was a carnival somewhere around my hometown.
That was common even in Southern California.
Yeah, and so that movie came out. Of course, I went and watched it, and with my buddies, and then we all went to the carnival. We showed up to the carnival, the Creek County Fair Carnival, and I guess the merry-go-round had electrical fire on it. So part of it was burned. But in the nighttime, it looked creepy.
How spooky did
Yeah,
that look?
we walked up there and we're like, oh damn.
Roller coaster, yes.
Yeah.
No.
And we're like, where's the creepy mortician guy?
Right, where is he?
Yeah. But
All are welcome.
all are well.
All are welcome.
That is cool. Have you seen any new ones that have really tickled your fancy?
I mean, the newest one I've seen, I don't know, this is probably everybody's gonna burn this out, but like Us, like that's the newest one that I've seen that I was really kind of impressed with. Like I've the paranormals, like those kind of scare me. Like we were talking about the girl being dragged out of the
yeah.
bed. That's like
Paranormal Activity?
yeah,
Yeah, I like that. Light shadow, not over the top, but then she gets pulled out, the door shuts, and he's trying to get to her.
Right, but Us, you've got like Conjuring and then you've got all that kind of stuff, and some of those are really cool. I do like those, but like as far as like being surprised by what was going on and what the payoff was really good in Us. I like the payoff. The whole story was good, but the end game twist and payoff made it worth the watch for sure. I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
But you don't
that
think
hasn't seen it.
anybody's gonna back you up on this?
I think a lot of people tend to cling to the classics. They're gonna say Hellraiser, Evil Dead. They're gonna go to the
It's
Cenobites.
dated though. They're really. I mean, they're still good, but it's dated.
Right. I mean, okay. So here's the thing: when it comes to like makeup and effects, like to me, like I love all that stuff, so I can go back there, and enjoy it for that reason. And like here's the other thing: like legend. Okay, Rob Bottin, legend. Okay, check this one out. You know, Tim Curry, The Darkness, his like devil character, like The Darkness,
Yeah.
is probably one of the most I don't know, quintessential portrayals of that like image to me.
Was that like it had Tom Cruise in it? Real young.
Yes,
Tom
yeah.
Cruise? Okay.
Yeah, it did, you know, and it didn't do very good, but you've got characters that so many characters for years and years and years have been like modeled after, like the Meg Mucklebones character. I mean, how many witches and kind of scary characters were modeled off that? And again, you know, it didn't do very good at the theater. It wasn't, you know, didn't make a whole bunch of money, but now is very much like thought of as like movie makeup's kind of echelon, where I think that was probably one of the biggest makeup teams ever assembled to do Legend.
Oh yeah, those horns are enormous. He had to wear on his head.
Yeah, you know, like several different times they redesigned those horns and actually reduced weight because it was so much weight on Tim Curry's frame. He actually, like at one point during the shoot, he actually, because of the weight, he had a kind of claustrophobic panic attack, ripped the stuff off, and he actually ripped part of the skin of his face off. Ouch. And they had to shoot around him for I think like 10 days. So yeah, it's a mission to be in that. Like that's the part that I really respect and really like go after now.
That character reminded me of that demon in Fantasia. Did you ever watch the Disney Fantasia with the demon? That's what it reminded me of. And I'm kind of wondering if people watch stuff like that and then said, you know what, let's make it for real and start putting it in movies and doing all this stuff. Kind of like they do with Transformers now. There's no way they could have made Transformers.
Oh gosh, yeah.
20 years ago,
right,
25 years ago.
Oh, even like practical. If they would have tried to do it from a practical effects level, it would have broke the bank.
Right.
Because as practical effects started to ramp up, the cost started to ramp up, and that's the sad part about it is that's where Hollywood kind of turned its back on it. You know, go to the CGI kind of thing. So.
Right.
I don't think CGI is good.
No, it's not.
Well, yeah, that's the big debate.
Yeah, that's the big debate. I mean, if you got enough money to back it up, I guess it's pretty good. I mean, Marvel, of course, is...
Yeah, you know, you got the Marvel movies.
They fake it pretty good.
Yeah, they fake it pretty good.
Those are pretty epic, and the practical effects are super limited. Practical fight scenes, super limited. But then you go to me and you get into stuff like Stan Winston, to me, like, is the guy, you know, like, of, like, marrying CGI with makeup and practical effects, that whole, like, you know... you look at like a Jurassic Park, because that's the original Jurassic Park at that time. Go back and remember how real that stuff looked. And you know, and even before that, like Terminator, you know, the liquid metal scenes and all the stuff that they pulled off in T2 were really, really amazing. You know, and as it's evolved, it's kind of weird how the quality of televisions and filming has actually affected special effects and actually hurt it.
Yeah,
it's kind of harder to pull off because you go back and you look at like even the coloration of like Friday the 13th. We were talking about this before. Like Savini does like the killer job of pulling off all these kills, but then when you go back and you watch it on a 4K TV, you can see like it's Kevin Bacon's neck and then like the prosthetic and, and then the knife comes up. It's still super cool, but you can see the coloration. So I don't know. That's more where I'm at. Is I almost wish they kind of would stop with the TV quality elevation.
I kind of like dirtying it up when I film. I make it look a little older.
Well, it gives the film and it gives the character. Well, like you're saying, it gives it soul.
Mood. Yeah.
Yeah, it puts the soul into the character. You know, CGI, you can just tell it's CGI,
clear,
but when somebody's
Very
actually
much
creating and putting their hands on it and manipulating the character,
It's too clear. I'd rather see it without glasses.
right?
I need a little bit of fuzz.
Yeah,
Make it.
And that's kind of where it's. I mean, in real life, I mean, obviously, I think that the 4K and all that's cool, like documentaries and nature stuff. That's awesome. I love it for that. But there almost ought to be a cutoff because we are getting to that point where, like, you know, like we're like Cameron's talking about elevating this whole Avatar thing and shooting it in revolutionary ways, and we're gonna see it in a different way. You know, we've heard this kind of stuff before, but something new will come of it, guaranteed. It may not be as revolutionary as the original HD step was for all of us, but
Right.
it'll be something in quality that'll be, you know, a whole new thing.
I'm cool with 1080.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
4K's okay. I could shoot in 4K,
Right.
but
Well, it kind of makes it where your mind needs to build what you're looking at, and it takes that away where your mind just has to sit there and just go,
Your
just watch the
imagination
movie. Your
scares you
imagination,
more.
yeah.
You're dull. You're almost dulled by the sharpness and crispness. Yeah, it is weird, that whole.
the sound, what you don't see, your mind's like, oh shit, oh, pardon my language, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap,
Yeah.
it's coming.
Well, like you were saying earlier, the music, you know, your
Oh,
mind,
yeah.
okay, here it comes. You know,
Yeah,
that melody starts building the tension in your head, you know.
Oh yeah. I love, like, music sets the pacing of stuff so much in those older ones, you know, and just the scare kind of weird sounds too, like the creepy, creaky kind of anticipating setting up those jump scares. There's a real art to all that music and setting up all the scares. I mean, there's a whole. I mean, I know we're kind of bouncing around, but there's
No, it's true. Yeah, we are bouncing. Bouncing's good. That, and then all of a sudden, oh shit.
right.
I said it again.
The sound thing that's is really benefited. I think the surround sound, going to the theater and hearing the steps behind you and stuff.
Right,
like,
yeah.
You know, I've loved that whole, like, I'm old. I mean, I can remember going and seeing 2 horror movies for like $1 at the Capri Theater in West Covina. So it was like, it's a real thing. You start out and that's when I think that's when I kind of fall in love with it, is when it was really simple.
Right.
You know, those simple kind of, but the scares were the best. You know.
I love it.
The older jump scares, I think, were probably the best. That's what's probably kind of faded, you know.
Well, it's left room for your imagination to build. So
Yeah.
We'll have to bring that back and wind this down, but hopefully we'll get together and talk more creep.
yeah.
But probably next week will be baby food and flowers. So
Okay.
join us then, Hollywood, Halloween baby food. You know what? I just thought about the scariest thing on TV, or 2 things: The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, wait, I have a third, Kardashians.
Okay.
Fucking horrifying.
That's kind of horrifying. Yeah, I'm locked up. I'm actually,
I can't even watch it. It scares me so bad. I have to leave and go out in my garage.
You know, you really have to credit the makeup artists to make those monsters look like people instead of
it's
going
unreal.
people to monsters.
How do they do that?
I'm kidding.
You might cut that out. I don't know.
No, it's kind
I
of.
wouldn't.
All right. Do we have any parting thoughts besides Jack, of
I
course?
think we're off like a prom dress.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Jack, we're going to have a talking.